Cusimano, Arizona Republic. Justin, this season you got two new teammates in Connor and Carson. I know we're only three races in, but I'm just curious what it's been like working with them and what's kind of surprised you about them so far.
Well, I mean, I think last year having both of them run, part-time and run a few races has been great. I think when you could integrate them into kind of the daily life of our race shop and the flow, whether that be the Monday morning meetings or whether that be, being in the simulator and kind of all collectively working towards a common goal, I think that was huge. Both of those guys are insanely talented. If you would have put Carson running the fastest lap at a road course on my bingo card, I probably would have told you you're crazy. So last week I thought was interesting that those two were going head to head, and unfortunately I think the right front they flat spotted the right front on Carson's car, but I think that was going to be a battle down to the wire, which I didn't expect, I guess, in some ways. But I think that both of them have excelled. One of the things that I like about both of them is their work ethic. Carson still goes to the late model shop and works the late model, and then he goes home and works on his own late model team for his family team. I don't know that he knows anything but working on race cars, which is awesome to see, because I feel like nowadays that is very much the opposite of what we see on a regular basis. And so, I hope for both of them that they both are learning what they want to learn. They're seeing things. Catherine talked about it. I mean, some of these racetracks you're going to, you don't know where credentials is at. You've never been to these places. You don't know, where to park, how to get in the racetrack. Like, those are all things that some of these guys are learning for the first time. And I think that it makes some of these race weekends even more difficult. And they're both excelling at that in a big way. So, really proud of them. Sammy's done a great job this year. And I just feel like as a whole, I'm really the only old guy over there, but I feel like we have a good race team that has a lot of cohesiveness, and that's really all you can ask for.
Go to Dustin, then we'll go to Chris in the back.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. As you've gained experience and your teammates have gotten younger, what has the process been like, or how have you learned when to step in and help them with something and when to leave them alone and let them figure it out on their own, unless they come to ask you?
I don't know that I have a good answer on that, because everybody's a little bit different. I think every circumstance is a little bit different. How I would do things is...
See, like last week, I could see a couple instances where you could have stepped in as a veteran with what Connor went through and maybe be consoling with Carson, and I don't know if that's something that you...
Well, I would say Carson and I had that conversation at the airport, waiting to get on the bus. Like, I felt bad for him. I've been there and I've done it. At the same time, you're going for a win, and you're going to make those mistakes. And it's really, I think in this sport, it's not the mistakes, right? It's not what mistakes you make, it's how you come back from it. On the flip side of that, though, Connor and I had contact on the racetrack, and he texted me in victory lane, telling me, what happened, why it happened, and I thought that was kind of funny. Does it fix my day? No, probably not. But at the same time, the fact that he realized it and said what he said in the text message, I think kind of summed it all up, right? We're all going to make mistakes. I don't care how much experience you got, you're going to make mistakes. So, I think that my big thing is like I feel like just based on the conversations we have, I have a very different outlook on how to race, what happens on a race weekend than they do, right? Very different. Theirs isn't wrong, especially in today's day and time with the way that the racing is. Like, I'm probably way more on the conservative side of things than they are. But on the same point, that's just how I grew up racing, and obviously not how they've grown up racing. I think they're going to be great in this sport. I think they're going to do big things. I think both of them have the opportunity to be future Cup champions, right? So they're going to, or all three of them, I guess, really, if you want to include Sammy. I mean, it's funny, Sammy's still young, but when you have two, I don't even know age-wise how Sammy and Carson, I think, are the same age, right? Sammy's younger than Carson. So I guess because the other two are new that we put them in that lump them into there. But I just feel like if any driver, I don't care if it's our teammates, if any driver comes over and asks my opinion, I'm going to tell them, because I had good people in this sport that when I came in, that were an open book and helped me any way that they possibly could and told me their view on life. And whether I agreed with it or not, it didn't matter. I think sometimes having just somebody tell you what they're thinking, and then you can pick out of it what you think is, you know, applicable to yourself or not. And so for me, we've got great conversation. Sometimes you just got to go back to work and you know, just wait and see how it plays out.